presented with difficult tasks, especially when that task is to save the life of an animal that's considered as endangered or threatened. John and Anthony were not discouraged by the simple task or difficult task of raising, saving, and releasing Christian the lion into the wild. One does not need to buy a lion to make a difference, though. And with today's decreasing lion numbers, it was stated by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature that lions are listed as vulnerable. And in an article called Declining Lion by National Geographic, it was stated that there are less than 20,000 lions in the wild today. Like I said, one does not need to buy a lion to make a difference, though. The people of Nuka Sound worked together to encourage the release of Luna, the killer whale, and to avoid its capture by the government. Toni Morrison once said, "Make a difference about something other than yourselves." It does not always take an army, a government, or a law to protect an animal. Individuals mentioned above have demonstrated that by taking action on the lives of single animals, one can actually make a difference. Go back to the chart of the lion. So, like I said, John and Ace bought Christian the lion from Harrods department store in 1969 in London, England. They cared for him and they took him to play in the Moravian church until he was too large to be maintained and too expensive. So they sought out the help from a Kenyan conservationist called George Adamson to send Christian to Kora National Reserve. Unfortunately, the pride that he was introduced to was killed, and according to McKenna, Christian became the leader of his own pride. John and Ace decided to go back and visit Christian at Kora National Reserve despite being advised against it. And their return was featured in a documentary called Christian, the Lion at World's End. Rendell detailed the encounter and said, "We called him and he stood up and started to walk toward us very slowly. Then, after he was sure it was us, he ran toward us, threw himself onto us, knocked us over, and hugged us like he used to with his paws on our shoulders." It took 2 people to save the life of this department store lion and a couple more to release him into the wild, but it ultimately comes to show how what actually can make a difference in the life of an animal. The people of Nuka Sound also try to make a difference in the life of Luna, a killer whale that was separated from his pod when he was very young. In Hewlett's book, Operation Orca, he explains why Luna loved to rub up on boats and be sociable with people. It's actually because killer whales are very sociable animals. In the US and Canada, though, it's illegal to make contact with marine animals because they've become too accustomed to human interaction into boats and they can get hurt. After many close encounters with Luna and boats, the people of Nuka Sound decided to make an effort to encourage him to go into the open seas to find his pod. The government, though, had other intentions. They decided to capture him to take him to an aquarium where he would live in captivity for the rest of his life. This was unacceptable for the Moatop people of Vancouver, so they joined efforts with civilians from Nuka Sound to prevent this from happening. There was still the issue of Luna rubbing up on boats, even though it accomplished him not being able to be captured by the government. Luna loved to be around boats, and that was a huge concern for the people around them. The best way that we can help a wild animal is by ensuring its release into the wild and by not harming the environment in which they live. This is the best way that we can give them a chance at survival. We can also have great impact by volunteering, donating, campaigning, rallying, and raising awareness. Luna loved to be around humans, and thus, even though despite their best efforts to encourage him to move to the wild, he was killed in a tugboat accident. The difference between Luna and Christian the lion was time. The faster that Christian was released into the wild, the faster he was released was the best way to ensure his survival. Conservation efforts don't need to be spearheaded by governments. It often takes a couple of willing individuals to actually make a difference in these declining numbers. If we don't take action, the numbers of endangered species will not stop declining. So go out and support a wild animal of your choice. Create a Facebook page, or donate to a fund for an existing conservation effort. We can make a difference. We can be the change we want to see in the world. All we need is some initiative and cooperation to get things going and save our precious wildlife from becoming extinct. Now that I've told you how we can individually help animals, Daniel's going to speak about park rangers and how they help and how they differ from rangers in other countries.